Tuthmoses III had over 50 building projects completed within his lifetime. Remember the model, the basic archaeological model which is in every civilization, including us. There's two social groups, the elites and the masses. The elites offer stability, security, organisation, and the masses offer labour and cooperation. Well, when the elites create excesses, they use those excesses to build monuments, and that's what Tuthmoses III did. He's got an army which he has to fund. The tributes do that, and the tributes are bringing lots more, plus the taxation going up and down. There's peace and stability during his 30-year reign. There's been a peace and stability in these areas for about 40 years. So he's getting lots of resources which he would like to convert into monuments. Plus, don't forget, he's got a corvée labour force of 5 years from every Egyptian who lives in Egypt has to work for their lord for 5 years of their life. If you was a rich Egyptian, you could send a prisoner or a slave to do that work and service for you. So with all these resources coming into Egypt, it created a middle class as well as an elite class. So no longer would you have to do that 5 years corvée service yourself. With these surpluses, he got to work and he dismantled the Red Chapel of Hatshepsut at Karnak. I don't think he was being malicious, I just think it was in the way. And he built 6 pylons there. Then he relocated the Holy of Holies into the Amun-Ra suites. And then beyond that, he built the most beautiful places. A great big hallway at the back of Karnak. Wow, that was a big building project. Now, let's have a look at the map. So, you've got the map of Karnak. So, these are the pylon areas where the Red Chapel would have been. And then behind is Tuthmoses' new most beautiful places. Now you can have a look at those beautiful columns with the original paint on. And round the side of the building, he had all the flora and fauna and strange animals he saw abroad carved on the walls and painted. So this was going to be a magical place. There's also a place for the ancestors. So his name, Tuthmoses III, with all the other kings' names, as kind of a king's list going all the way back to Nama, proving his pedigree as king of Egypt. He completed the 8th pylon, which was started by Hatshepsut during her reign, but was never finished. And he attempted to erect 2 obelisks. One was erected. It's no longer there now. It's in Paris, I believe. The king built his tomb on the west bank in the Valley of the Kings. It was a different approach. What they did was they started at the top of a cliff and they dug a tunnel right the way through the cliff. Then they dug the upper and lower chambers and descending passageways to create the tomb. When eventually they finished the tomb, they sealed it up and filled in the hole from the cliff going down to the tomb entrance with the chippings to stop any robberies. So he's thinking about security. Now, what's interesting about these 18th dynasty tombs is they have 2 levels, 2 chapels, an upper chapel and a lower chapel. The lower chapel is about the journey through the underworld. So for an ancient Egyptian to get to the afterlife, they had to now pass through gateways and overcome monsters. Remember the coffin text? Well, the coffin text gave us a glimpse of this. Now we're looking at the so-called Book of the Dead. So all the prayers that were written during the New Kingdom, archaeologists call that the Book of the Dead. So in the Book of the Dead, you have these magical spells to get you through the 12 gateways. Once you're through the 12 gateways, you're then reborn. The Kepra, the everlasting life. And that's what I think these 2 levels were for. The lower level was offset to the west. The west is where the foremost of Westerners are, Osiris. And the upper level is about rebirth. Okay, so if we have a look at an isometric drawing of Tuthmoses III's tomb, you can see these two levels, and this is very common during this 18th dynasty. It did change because what this relied on was a long life cycle, and these tombs were not decorated until the king was on his deathbed. So if you look at the wall art here, it's very like sort of like stick people. It's not full of art like you see in later tombs, and that's because in later tombs they dug a passage, stopped and decorated it, dug another further passage, stopped and decorated. Here they dug it all out, and when the king was on his deathbed, that's when they started decorating, and he only had 70 to 100 days to do this work. Wow, but very impressive. The mortuary temple he put between Hatshepsut's and Nebhet-Ra's at Dedabakri. So again, this animosity that early classical scholars thought there was between himself and Hatshepsut, I don't think it was there. I think they had a very positive relationship. Remember, he was 2 or 3 when he became king of Egypt. A lot of 2 or 3-year-olds could be murdered and poisoned and overthrown. She oversaw that he survived, and then she gave him the army, control of the army. So he must have been growing up in a very positive manner with his stepmother and aunt. To secure the throne, Tuthmosis III entered into a co-regency with his second son, Amenhotep II. His first son had died before him, and that was because Tuthmosis III ruled Egypt for 54 years. So he's in his 50s, 60s when he died. So 20 years as a co-regent with Hatshepsut, 30 years as sole ruler, and 3 or 4 years in another co-regency with his son Amenhotep II. So long live Tuthmosis III. He brought stability throughout Egypt. He made Canaan and Syria a calm region for trade routes to work, and he gave Egypt that great prestige. Now, I would like to go to Egypt and do a video tour of Karnak and the most beautiful places. To do that, I need funds. If you'd like to support this project, you'll see the link on the next page. Please go to GoFundMe and make a small donation of £1. It's gratefully received. Thank you so much. Bye for now. See you soon.